What's up, everybody? Josh and Joe here from RamRods Archery. You are watching Follow Through, and today we're going to be breaking down some important matches from the recent Medellin World Cup with one of our athletes, Jennifer Mucino. She got a gold in mixed team and a bronze individual. We're going to go through how those matches went down, things she learned, background information, and hopefully I'll learn something. So, Jennifer, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So, give us a little background info, like starting from kind of getting to the event and starting the ranking round. How were the conditions and how did the ranking round go for you?
Yeah, I mean, the field that we shot this year was different from where we shot last year. This year we shot where the guys shot last year, so it's a way better field. It has like a really nice shade. We have walls to the side, so there is pretty much no wind. Like, I mean, there's the occasional breeze that will like push your arrow to the 9, maybe to an 8, but there wasn't a lot of wind, so it was like really nice conditions.
From what I recall, you ended up ranking, I think, 5th in the qualification round. Was it your personal best?
Yeah, it definitely was. I think before that, maybe it was like in the 20s.
Excellent. And
yeah,
so both ranking and score-wise. So one of the things, Josh and I were doing a little research today on your matches in this World Cup, in addition to your shooting in the past. And one of the things we noticed was that your scores have risen pretty quickly the last, I would say, couple months, or at least in the last year or so. So I'm curious, has there been any difference in training or confidence or all sorts of factors contributing to just starting to raise your scores from what looks like maybe 20 to 30 points below to your, I guess, 673 I think you shot here in Colombia?
Yeah, I believe so. I have been shooting good. I feel like not excellent for the past year, like ups and downs. Like you change this and maybe you're shooting again, like in the 330s, you change something else and you go down to 310s. But lately, like I coachly changed my anchor, the way I anchor, and it just closed my groups so much. Like it's so much easier to shoot now than it was before. I also started paying more attention to my back tension, like actually keeping it, because before it was like, like you will have like 4 arrows with a good back tension and 2 with a questionable back tension. So, like the 8s, 7s. I also think like mentally, I haven't been working with anyone, but I feel like something click. Like I don't, like, like I have been working a lot, like obviously on myself, like trying to get rid of like all that pressure, all the expectation. Is like, okay, like at some point I realized that if you are performing with expectation, you're performing for someone, like you're not gonna do it. Like you just need to go and shoot and enjoy what you're doing and like don't overthink. So I feel like that was my strategy, I guess. Like I didn't approach a strategy just how it happened during Colombia. I was just trying to enjoy every shot and not overthink anything.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I mean, I think almost every archer can benefit from that kind of approach in some way or another. So I'm curious if you could give either a younger archer advice or your self advice from like a year ago. Is it just relax and don't worry about either what other people are thinking or every arrow, or is it something more complex or different than that?
It goes down to that. Like it sounds so cliche because everyone is just like, oh, just go and enjoy it and you're gonna shoot good. Like it's not as simple, because if it was as simple, like I would have done it years ago.
Yeah.
But you actually need to like believe in yourself. And I feel like the other phrase that helped me a lot is like I just say to myself, like, be bold. So like just take a risk. Like you're not gonna win anything if you don't take a risk. So like all those shots that before, like I will let down, or like maybe like die by it and make a weak shot because of it. Like right now it's just like just throw it in there and it's gonna hit. Obviously, like still making a good shot, right? But like trying to like get rid of all those fears that maybe if you don't make a perfect shot, it's gonna be an 8. Like a 9 is good. Like I will take all the 9s. So I just feel like that just being bold.
Yeah. I agree with you. What you mentioned earlier too, that some of it maybe sounds simpler or cliche or stuff that we've heard before, but actually following through on it and actually implementing it in not just a practice round and not just maybe a local tournament, but maybe a couple of USATs or national level tournaments plus a World Cup all the way through. That's something that I think a lot of archers or people who are listening to this are very interested in hearing.
Like 2 months ago, maybe a little bit less than that, I shot like a really small tournament. We were invited to it. And, like there is no pressure whatsoever. Like you're really just there for having fun. It was pretty much just the RAs and some other people. So I shot the best I have ever shot in a tournament. I think I shot maybe like a 336 and like a 334 around that. So I don't know, maybe that's when we actually clicked. Like after that, I shot SoCal. My qualification round was like amazing as well. And I mean, Colombia happened, so.
Yeah, for sure. And again, just for some background for people who might be watching this, you've been shooting very seriously for at least 10 years now?
I have been shooting since I was 9, so 11 years now. But in the senior division, I have been shooting for the past, I believe, like 3 or 4 years. And before that, it was like the junior cadet division, but more like in the national stuff.
Yeah, it's just a lot of context that I think is really impressive to us as archers that you've been working hard for a long time and had these ups and downs, but have had a very kind of helpful breakthrough, learning, couple tournaments, and we definitely wanted to get you on our podcast here to kind of talk through that because sometimes we look at just maybe, I don't know, gold medalists or winners of certain things, but there's so much good stuff being done by archers at all levels that we saw this as a particular finish or event or progress that was very interesting to us and I think very valuable to a lot of people. So I think that's a lot of good context. Do you have any other kind of thoughts on kind of her progression or kind of these ways she's kind of thinking about stuff now?
I was kind of curious when we were reading about kind of your move over time from training in Mexico to training here in the U.S. Do you feel like that experience of training in different countries and also training at a very high level from when you were very young, does that give you a different edge or perspective than most people might have?
It's difficult to compare the both of them because I was in a very different stage of my life. Like when I was training the center in Mexico, I was from 12 to 15 years, so like I was a teenager. That center is focused in young people, so you are not allowed to leave the center without like your parents. Like they need to pick you up, so you have no liberty to like, I don't know, like today want to go for a Starbucks and you can't. Like you are stuck in there. So I mean, I studied there, I lived there, and I trained there for 3 straight years. It was, high demand mentally and physically. When I stepped out of the center, I was born out of the archery. Like, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I didn't touch my bow for, I think, a month, a little bit over a month. So right now, like, I have all the liberty. Like, I have a car, I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. The trainings, like, they are still as heavy as they were in Mexico, if not a little bit more. But I think it's just the mental part. Like, I'm actually enjoying archery right now, and I don't think I did that in the last couple of years that I was training in Mexico.
Yeah, for sure, having that freedom to move around and live your life a little bit makes a big difference, and just the happiness, and I think happy archers always shoot better. Do you think that, like you were mentioning, that burnout feeling from when you were a lot younger, do you think that you went too intense too young? Or do you think that training was still good, but that was a little bit of the price to pay to get to where you are now? Would you have waited longer to train that intense if you would have known you were going to get burned out at a young age?
I don't think so, because I don't think if I hadn't trained as hard as I did in that period of time, I don't think I would be here right now. Because that led to a lot of stuff. That led to me being in the youth team for Madrid in 2019 and eventually in the Olympic team. The first couple of years that I was in that center, I got a lot of technique basis. My technique was pretty bad beforehand. Like, I mean, I was consistent, but it wasn't a good technique at all. So I got a lot out of that time. So I don't think I will take back. I will have done the same. Maybe, when you're young, it's difficult to have an actual voice with the grown-ups, but maybe like just say to have more liberty, maybe like implement more archery games during training, because it was just like, oh, go shoot 300 arrows and score and this, and like it was boring at some point. Like you didn't want to go to train anymore. So I will do the same, maybe just bring a little bit more fun to it.
Okay, I appreciate that answer. I like it.
Yeah, so take us into what it's like in this ranking round, and I guess what it felt like to keep up with your shooting, your mentality, and then start to get close to, I presume, breaking a personal best in the ranking round here.
Yeah, so even in USATs, I don't like looking at points. Like, it just stresses me out. I have never done it, and I don't think there is any benefit for me, at least, to looking at the points like every single end. So, in Colombia, I knew I was shooting good, but I have like another 3 really good athletes on my belt. I wasn't at the top in the beginning. We were shooting with the Chinese team. So one of them was in the top as well. So she was like above me by 3 points pretty much the whole round. So I knew I was shooting good. I had no idea in what place I was, until, like in the World Cups, they say the top 10 during the ranking, like after 4 ends, after 6 ends. So I started hearing my name and I was like, okay, like it doesn't matter, just keep doing what you're doing, because that happened to me during youth championships in Madrid. I started really well. I started, I think, with a 59 and a 58, and I was like in 5th place or 3rd place, something like that. And I heard it, and I immediately started shooting bad. Like, I immediately started shooting so bad. So this time around, I was like, okay, I'm not repeating that. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, just relaxing, just ignore pretty much what's around me. What helps me a lot, I read during during the other line, so it keeps me away from overthinking other stuff. Just keep doing what I'm doing. It pay off. So
that's an interesting strategy. I know some people get really motivated by following the scores. Some people really don't like it. Most of us are probably in between. But I think it takes a lot of discipline to read a book, if it sounds like that's what your process is, just in between ends, even at big competitions.
What do you read? What's the book?
Well, during the Colombia, I was reading Earth Unaware, so the book Ender's Game. Yeah, they have like a huge saga about it. It's like 26 books or something like that, so that's one of them. But yeah, It's pretty much sci-fi.
Nice.
So if anybody else wants to shoot a 673, they need to go buy that book.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also wanted to add to that part you had mentioned about being on the, like, shooting some of the best you've ever done, but being on a bail with someone who's still shooting better. I think that is kind of an eye-opener for any archers who go to an international tournament, is to be able to see, oh my gosh, like, I don't see very much of this level. Maybe I see it from some athletes in the U.S. or locally or regionally, but to basically be on the same bail as someone who's shooting better than most people ever have or than most people ever do, and be like, oh my gosh, like, it's obviously possible. I just have to try and keep up. Like, it's not about, like, I don't know what's able to be done or not anymore.
It was good to have like that kind of a small competitiveness, because although I wasn't looking at the big scores, like from all the people that was competing, I was looking at the scores on my belt. I was the one that was scoring, so I knew perfectly well where everyone was standing. And it was definitely good to see, like there is still 1 or 2 points. So I didn't know, I have no idea where everyone else was placing until, like the announcement started happening. So it was like, I mean, they might be shooting good, they might be shooting, like we might be in 20 place, we might be in the top 5. So I was just trying to like keep up with them. Like I don't know, like at some point I was like 1-2 points up, and then like I know a great end, and then like it goes even, and then maybe down. So it was just like trying to still compete in some level.
For sure. So yeah, so that's exciting. So yeah, leading it. So we kind of talked through that ranking round a little bit. You're shooting well. You're focusing on your process. You've learned a thing or two over the years and over the last even couple months to help you relax, focus on the way you want to shoot, the way you want to feel. And now you're kind of in the mix of it with the top, not only top 10, but solidly like top 5. So yeah, so that puts you in a good spot with both, I presume, your individual and the mixed team placement. So what were the next couple days of the tournament like?
I believe after qualification round, the next day is team rounds. So with the girls, we have the best placement that we have ever had in a competition. The three of us were shooting amazing. We shot the best we have ever shot in a team round. We made to semifinals, eventually to finals. We lost semifinals, so we went to a bronze medal match. And we unfortunately also lost the bronze medal. But like the confidence was there. We were having so much fun. Like I knew I was like, it created so much more confidence for me going into the next day for mixed teams, because before the team round, before the qualification round, I knew I was gonna do the mixed team. I told some of like the people closer to me, it's like I don't know if I can keep up, because like Casey always does the mixed team, so it's like a big spot to fill in. Like like they medal every single time in a World Cup for the past like a year and a half. So it was like trying to keep up. So after team rounds, like having so much fun and seeing what I was able in that moment, it just gave me so much confidence for the next day. So going into mixed team, like shooting with Brady is always fun. He knows how to pull an arrow in the 10. So like I knew like the insecurity of like having to carry the team wasn't there at all, obviously. And if anything, he was carrying me. But it was so much fun, like, like he was shooting first, so he will step in the line, shoot at 10, step out, and it's like your turn. So, like you have to do it. So we just shoot at 10, and eventually we made it to the finals.
Sure, a little bit of peer pressure in shooting 10s is never a bad idea if it works for you.
Yeah.
So I'm curious too. So that sounds like a very positive vibe and confidence that you have in each other, partly from some of the work you've been doing again over the past months and years, partly from this tournament itself, partly from the team rounds that you had done just the day before with the women's team. How would you describe being able to still stay focused on the positive? Because I know that some people might look at shooting with someone like Brady and say, oh my gosh, like the pressure's so high, I can't let him down, I can't let my teammates down. So how do you reframe that or turn that into an enjoyable kind of positive experience rather than kind of a negative pressure?
So I don't know, I feel like it also helped that I have been in the same team as Brady for the past almost 2 years. So, I don't see him as, like this. Obviously, he's a great archer, don't get me wrong, but I don't see him like as this, archer that you need to keep up and you need like to impress and everything. It's just another teammate for me. So although like I know he's an excellent archer, but the confidence was there from the previous day, and Coach Lee and Brady were amazing to keeping that confidence up. They were saying like, "Oh, you're shooting so good," and Brady was making jokes that I was shooting better than him, that he needed to keep up with me. So everything helped bringing that pressure almost to nothing.
Nice. So going now into the mixed teams, talk us through kind of the first 1 or 2 matches. This is, I presume, like maybe the 16th round or the quarterfinals to start?
Yeah, I'm not sure where we started, but we have about the first round. So I think our last practice and our last buy-in was maybe like a 39 or a 40. So the confidence was there, we were shooting good. There was pretty much no wind, so that was nice. So the first match against Brazil. So it's a little bit background in that. De Santos, she's the girl in the team, obviously. I shot against her last year in Pan Am Championships. I was shooting really good during Pan Am Championships, but she destroyed me during the match. Like she shot like 29-30, 29-30, something like that. I was like, I can't even be mad at that. So like I knew we were shooting so good, but Brazil team can be so strong. So it was the first match. The pressure is not there. It's just like the first match of the day. Just get out of the way. We shoot good. The second match was against China. So China, obviously, another really strong competitor. We had a couple of rough ends. I think in that match I shot maybe like a right 7. There was like, those small wins that come out of nowhere. I didn't think much of it, and it just was a 7. So we lost a set. We're like, brush it off. Don't think about it. Just going to the next set with just a new set. So we shot really good. We won the match. Then the quarters match was against Chinese Taipei. Again, another really strong competitor. I feel like when you're in teams, like in women's team, there is really strong teams, but most of the time it's like 2 really good athletes and one athlete that is not as good as the others. So, you can have like that window that maybe they didn't shoot as great. You can take that advantage. But in mixed team, it's really the best people of every single country. So no matter what match it is, you're shooting against the best. So against Chinese Taipei was, again, another really strong match. We kept doing what we were doing. We were just having fun, just making jokes. So like Brady kept saying like, your turn. And like, I needed to do it, right? So we won those first 3 matches, and we knew we were going to the finals the next day.
Excellent. And this is your first gold medal match then that you were going to?
Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
Okay.
And I also know it's like, it was weird for me. I don't know if because it was the vibe they were keeping, just like trying to keep relaxed and just enjoying what we were doing. But the semifinals match, it didn't feel that important. It just feel like any other match. Like it was still in the normal field. It wasn't in the big stage. So I'm guessing that helped a lot because there was pretty much no pressure at all during that day. Like the confidence from Coach Lee and Brady were there. They keep saying like, "Oh, you're shooting really good. Like, just keep having fun."
Talk us through this venue. You guys, I presume, had done some studying on the wind and watching other matches ahead of this.
I was mainly we were just practicing. There was, obviously the field was different. It was just to the side of that venue. But there was just a little bit of wind, maybe in like 9 left and to hit a 10. But it was pretty much no wind whatsoever. Getting into the venue, the floor that they use always gets so hot. So I was immediately sweating, trying to think about it. But yeah, there was pretty much no wind whatsoever.
Yeah, so summertime in Colombia, I imagine that's pretty warm. And,
Yeah.
And had you ever shot against Korean team matches before?
No, I have never. Well, no, I have in the team match that we had in the women's was against Korea, the semifinals. Yeah.
Okay. Walk us through what you're thinking and feeling going into the start of this match.
I don't want to sound like I'm repeating the same every time, but it was the same. Just trying to keep focused, trying to enjoy what I was doing. Pretty much, I had pretty much no pressure at all. Like the first 2 sets, I was just enjoying it, just making good shots. I knew the Korean woman, she wasn't shooting as good as they usually do for some reason. I have no idea what was happening. But since team rounds and since the elimination day individually, they weren't shooting as good. So I knew we just need to keep doing what we were doing and we should be fine. So we just starting, keep making good shots.
Yeah, so you're seeing that they're good, but a little bit off their normal game. So you see a little bit of opening, perhaps a little bit of comfort, like you're saying, and just keep it up, and you guys will be fine.
Yeah. There was definitely a lot of times we like got the set earlier and I messed up, I think, one of the arrows.
All right, so first arrow here. Nice, just a hair low. And I presume you guys are also talking about wind, checking sight marks, just kind of trying to get dialed in on this new venue as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the also other thing that, like I have some experience in the venues from the Olympics, obviously it's not SEMIFINAL, but I tend to shoot low the first couple of arrows, like you don't make as strong of a shot as you wish you did. So I usually just like the first couple of arrows is down and just like move it a little bit.
Okay, but yeah, knowing that about yourself, I mean, that's a lot of experience, and that contributes to, I mean, these matches happen so quickly that sometimes just getting dialed in a couple arrows earlier than the other team can make all the difference.
Yeah, it definitely does.
All right, so we're closing out end number 1 here.
Going into your second shot for the first end, you have a little bit of a window in points. Were you kind of aware of that, or are you just totally zoned in on your shooting?
No, I mean it's pretty difficult not to be aware of the points during finals. They are literally screaming in your face. But I knew I just needed, like here in the program we have something called goal game. So just goal game, just shoot in the yellow and you get the shot, the set. So it was pretty much just make a good shot.
Nice. It's got to feel good to have a solid X to close out that first end.
Yeah.
Now, I would imagine if it was myself, I'd probably have a little bit more nerves than usual going up into a match against Korea just because of the reputation. Having taken that first set pretty easily, did you feel like there was a little bit of momentum changing in your favor, getting a little more comfortable and more confident for the match?
Yeah, I knew there was no possible way that they were gonna keep shooting like this throughout the match, and they definitely improved their points. But yeah, like as I said, for some reason there wasn't that pressure there. Like before, like the other years in our competitions, like facing a Korean is always scary because they're the best in the world. Like they have so much training behind them, and they're just the best of the world. So, but in this time, for some reason, the pressure wasn't there. It was just another team for me.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it's just good to reinforce that and write it down. And I think again, every archer can learn from that because we all get caught up in our own heads about training and expectations and where we're at in our career or our lives or what we expect to be doing. But yeah, being able to also enjoy the sport that we all try so hard to do more of is, I mean, that's more than half of the battle probably that most archers face.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, maybe it was also the other part that, like, maybe no matter what, I was already getting a medal. Like, it was my first World Cup medal, no matter what happened, no matter if I shot horrible, we were still getting a medal. Obviously, it wasn't the plan at all, but it was just like hopping in there, shooting. I feel like I have already met my expectations in a way. I have shot the best I have ever shot, so I don't think anyone will be mad at me no matter what I did this time. So I was just shooting.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's healthy to remember, too, that everybody's not always paying quite as much attention to us as we think they are, and it's probably fine if we just shoot and it's all going to be okay.
Yeah. Like, they're still going to like you.
Yes, exactly. So you guys are tied going into the second half of the second end.
Yes.
Korea's definitely picking it up a little bit in terms of the grouping, catching a few more points here. A little longer, longer hold for sure.
Just out.
But
Okay,
not
so
a bad
38,
end.
that's really solid. And now you guys got to get a 10-9 to tie. Caught the line low, maybe. All right, so chance to tie or take the set. Just out left. Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember what happened that arrow. Like, I think I'm still as confused as I was in that moment.
Yeah, sure. It's understandable. So did you end up thinking it was the wind? It looks like you're changing your sight just a few clicks right now. But did you end up aiming any differently the following arrow, or did you feel like, well, something happened, I'll just keep doing the same thing as I'm doing?
Yeah, I did not. I just kept shooting the middle. So the other thing that also happens a lot to me often is I overthink the wind. So, like the wind is not as strong as you think it is. And I don't know, you will aim in the middle and shoot I don't know, like an 8 for some reason. Maybe like it was the wind and like a weak shot. So then you will like overcompensate to the other side, and it will be like now an 8 in the other side. So I feel like that has been really difficult for me because like you don't want to risk a shot to just see if the wind just is gone. But that's also like I have been working on that, like just actually trusting and not overthinking the wind, just because I always think it's better just to aim in the middle, and maybe it might be like a 9 or 8 to the other side than overcompensating and just shooting a completely different arrow in the other side of the wheel. So I just kept aiming in the middle.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's tricky because at this level, just a little bit of aiming with the wind or not with it can make a huge difference, or at least 1 or 2 points sometimes in score. So you guys are all sensitive to that. You're paying attention as much as humanly possible to what the wind is doing, but sometimes, like you said, you get out ahead of yourself trying to be very deliberate and conscious about your strategy, when in reality you probably pick up a couple tenths of a point average by just, like you said, just trying to drill the middle and recognizing sometimes shots just float a little bit more than you like, but that's no reason to overthink it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so like that's the other thing, like maybe like in that 8, I'm pretty sure it was just me. I don't think there was any wind whatsoever. So I just completely brushed it off and forget about it.
And that takes experience and confidence and maybe some wisdom to be able to do that. I think even in simple local matches, I think a lot of people will overthink and maybe overtry on some of those.
Yeah.
Awesome. So right back in the definitely left and right, back to dead center. So that's got to feel good to say, oh, well, just a little, got to shrug that other one off. But now we're right back in the where we want to be.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so now they're turning it on a little bit. Looks like maybe a 10 on that third one still. All right, so 39 or 38 at worst, possible 39.
One or 2 points open from Korea there, so you got to be really strong on the last 2 shots to stay in the running to grab some points.
Oh, tried to push it up a little bit.
Brady's got good consistency on both of those shots, just a little too far left.
All right, so definitely need a 10 here to tie the set, or to have a chance of tying.
Yeah.
It's pretty comfortable and just a little drift.
That
So
was
yeah,
a
good grouping.
good end overall
Yeah.
for both teams.
All right, so yeah, what are you guys thinking at this point? You took the first end pretty handily, which has got to feel good. Korea has come back with what looks like a 38 and at least another 38, and you guys are now pretty dialed in again, but now you're down 4-2. So even a tie gives the match to Korea. So are you guys still feeling good? Are you feeling like you're changing any strategy at all? Or is it just try and outlast them and trust that, hey, if we shoot good, we can still edge them out by a point or two every end?
Yeah, I think it was still that confidence because like obviously we didn't get the set, but 37 is not bad. Like we had a really good group. We just move a little with the sides, just maybe like talk about the wind. I don't remember there being any wind whatsoever, but just keep doing what we're doing. We have been average like 38s, 39s, at least 2 or 3 10s most of the ends. So I think it was just like a little bit of a rough end, and we knew like we could like jump into the next one and make just 4 good strong shots.
Sure. Okay, and now this end too, you guys are shooting first for the first time this match. So that'll give you maybe a little bit of a chance to kind of set the tone and force them to catch up with you guys.
Yeah.
Did you guys play around a lot with the shooting order? If it was you or Brady shooting first?
Not really. Brady always opens. And I didn't think it was smart to move something that he's all like he knows how to perform in and he's so comfortable shooting in. So I just hop in the back and it worked from the beginning, so we just stick with it.
Okay, nice.
All right, so nice solid 10 to open this end. Nice, okay.
That's what you need when you're down 2-4 against Korea. You need to put some 10s down.
Yeah.
You guys pulled it off.
Half the time, I think you just got to get close enough to someone to give them a little bit to think about or a little bit of nerves, and there you get that break that obviously could have gone for a 10, but just a hair out,
That
and now
eighth
you
inch.
guys are in position. And Kim Woo-jin still got to shoot a 10 just to keep them within 1.
Within striking range.
Oh, and is that just out too?
Also just
Yeah.
out.
So now they're getting a little bit of that variation, either the wind or just random kind of shot float. It's breaking your guys' way a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely it was way more comfortable hopping into that last arrow with 2 points of a window. And he shot 10. All I needed to do was a shot 9, and we got the set, and we just needed one more row just to shoot off.
Nice, yeah. All right, there you
There you
go.
go. That's the comeback end you need.
Yeah.
A nice 39 feels good, boosts the confidence a little bit.
Yeah, you love to be able to be in the driver's seat and take away the chance of even a tie from a great team, but especially Korea in a big match like this. So I'm sure you probably wanted that 10, and obviously now looking forward to the shoot-off that you guys will have right after this. But again, you guys did the job, did the work, and now you're in a position to shoot one end to win it.
Yeah. Yeah, there was, there is still that pressure of the shoot off. You need to give your best arrow. Against Korea, there is almost no margin of error. You just need to make a good shot. And you can see their coach is trying to calm me down, trying to relieve all that tension from the shoulders. I don't know about other athletes, but for me it really helps to just feeling grounded, if that makes sense. Just trying to push everything, relieve the stress from all the shoulders, all that tension, all that tiredness.
Yeah, it's really easy to get, not I want to say in your own head. Obviously that's an issue too, but just being able to get outside of yourself almost. And I know that one of the art techniques maybe was kind of stretching or yawning when you're in a big match or situation to just cue the body into the present and being able to sense things maybe a little better, a little easier. So yeah, you guys are obviously in tune with each other in terms of kind of the mood and the social nature of a match rather than just the technical or the specific or the individual part of it. So that's exciting to see because I think it raises the overall level of any team that I think is paying attention to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, so we got a countdown. You guys are getting your arrows scored and pulled. Getting a few replays here. So it does alternating shooting, right? So are we expecting Korea to go first and then Brady to go second?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so a little back and forth.
Oof, I know how it ends and I'm nervous.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more nerve-wracking that they are going
Brady's
first.
just dancing over here.
Yeah. If they put the arrows in the middle from the beginning, there's not much you can do besides just shooting over their legs.
Yeah. Exciting though, a big opportunity, not just to win a match, but to do some fun stuff in archery. There's a lot of sorry, we're getting a little hammering here.
Yeah, that's okay.
There's a lot of arrows to be shot, but to be in special positions like this is what I think we all train for. So it's exciting to see, like, whatever happens, this is a fun match to be a part of.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I've always felt like shoot-offs were the most fun part of archery. The most adrenaline for sure.
All right, so opening with an 8, that's a big surprise.
It's not what you want to shoot off.
Huge opportunity for Brady to try to put 1 or 2 points between you guys. A little low, okay.
But still +1.
1 point up. All right, so Kim Woo Jin. Good timing, but just a hair left.
Just a little left.
All right.
17's a tough shoot-off.
Yeah, so again, it was just go game. I just need a 9 to win.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of taking yourself back to something that is like framing it in a way that's comfortable, lets you shoot your normal shot, and you finish with it in the gold, which is all you needed to do.
Yeah. 10-9 liner, probably one of the closest arrows of all 4 archers, which is definitely something to be said considering that the level and the quality of those archers in that match. But yeah, super exciting.
It was really fun. Like, you finish that, you pretty much you shoot the last arrow. Like the match is done, the match is decided, and just going back, like turn around and just hugging Brady, hugging coach, just like like that old relieving all that stress that the match is done. We did what we came to do, and we won the gold medal. So it just felt really good. It was really fun.
Exciting, yeah.
Well, congrats to both of you. You guys shot really well. That's a fun match.
Yeah, it's fun watching you.
Thank you.
All right, so you're breathing a little bit now, coming down a little bit from the excitement and the focus and all the preparation and nerves and everything. So what are you thinking now? Is this automatically on to matches later in the day?
So after that, I had no idea where to go. I was just following Brady. I didn't know if we had to take pictures, if we had to do media, if we could just go and eat because I was so hungry. So after that, we did some media, like answering questions, the microphone back and forth. I just went to eat, relax, trying to completely, to completely go back in the zone, kinda just go eat, get ready for the afternoon matches.
Okay, so yeah, this was morning. You guys are probably one of the last matches of the day, of the morning session, and then lunch, and then it starts all the individual matches.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. You had shot in the individual matches and done well to the point you knew you were in the semifinals before you guys had even done the gold medal match for mixed teams. So you now had, you probably won a total of 10 matches probably between women's team, mixed team, and individual. So a ton of shooting this week. And now you're leading into this final day with a lot of wins under your belt. Now a mixed team win. And now you're looking forward to shooting some semifinals and finals for individual.
Yeah, I didn't think about how many matches that actually was. And now that you mentioned it was probably like around 10. It just sounds crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of shooting. That's the way you want to do it, though. You want to be in contention for literally every medal possible if you can get at least to the semifinals. So yeah, that's exciting. And again, that's got to build a lot of confidence of just you're just shooting, you're doing your thing, you're reading your books, and you're following this process or mentality, having fun and enjoying it, and doing well, and taking it to a lot of these other competitors. So walk me maybe kind of briefly through some of those matches individually that you had, I presume, on either the Thursday or Friday before the weekend finals, and kind of the ebb and flow, what you learned, what you're working on, what you struggled with, and how those matches went.
The schedule was pretty much like in the finals, it was mixed team first and then individual matches. It's the first time that I should mix teams in a World Cup, so I didn't know how I was going to feel for individual matches. I don't know if I was going to be too tired or maybe like mentally tired. So, it was the same. Like we finished shooting mixed team. I went for some food, trying to cool down. It was still a little bit hot. So going into the first match, there's usually a buy, like the top 10, the top 15 has a buy, but this time there was a cut. So I didn't get to shoot a buy this time. I have a little bit of extra practice. But going to the first match, it was again one of the girls from Poland. Was still trying to get those first couple of arrows in, trying to make good shots. I think I shot like a 28, 29, 28, something like that. It was a good match. Super nice girl. We took a little bit, still trying to keep everything chill, everything in the down.
Okay. So first match, you shot pretty good and cleaned, it looks like 6-0. So what else was some of the highlights of that day? It looks like you won most of those matches pretty well. Nothing to a shoot off, nothing even to like a 6-4 position. But was there anything happening with the field, the conditions, the weather, your technique, your mental game that you were like working through or improving upon, or trying to get in sync so that you could be at your strongest going into the finals day?
Yeah. Well, the second match, I'm not sure who it was against, but it was again like 6-0. It was a pretty straightforward match. I shot good, and then the third match was against Germany. Germany, they have amazing shooters. They are such a strong team. I have never shot against them, so like there was still a bit of nervousness there. So the coach that was behind me was Chris. So Chris, every time they have an individual match, he's behind me. He's amazing at reminding me of what I need to do, and maybe like if I'm making any mistake, like telling me what I'm doing and how to correct it, and trying to keep everything in a nice, relaxed way and still being focused on my shots. So it was still like making good shots, strong shots. I think it was my first like rough match. I think I won the first one, and then we tied the second one, and then she won another one, something like that. But it was, I knew I was shooting against a really strong competitor. I didn't have the luxury of making any mistakes. So I was just making good, strong shots, following me with my process. Yeah.
Okay. So doing well, sticking with your game plan. Obviously, the level kind of elevates every round. You have to keep getting a little bit better in order to have a solid chance of winning. Mention you're meshing well with your coach. You guys are on the same page about how to communicate, what you're focusing on. And already by this point, right, you had already been into the semifinals and shot the bronze medal match for the women's team. You knew you were into the gold medal match of the mixed team. So did it start to feel like any different pressure when you were getting close to being in the semifinals for individual, or not so much?
There was still some pressure there. There are amazing archers, but there wasn't like a crazy pressure for me. like as I said, like Colombia for some reason it was such a relaxed competition for me. Like I was just in the zone the whole competition, if you could say so. The match that I got nervous was, I believe it was against China to hop into the semifinals. Just a couple, like 3, 6 more arrows, and I can be in the big stage, maybe get a medal. So the match was, I mean, you could say I struggled the most trying to keep making strong shots. I definitely have a lot, well, not maybe not a lot, but some bad shots that like it's weak in this end, so you try to compensate with the bow. But yeah, it was definitely still same strategy, trying to keep calm and just keep it making strong shots in some way.
Yeah, that sounds good. And again, it's working for you, so that's awesome to see. And now we're going into start the semifinal match
Against Korea.
All right, so semifinals against Korea. You already have one win over Korea for the day, so that's got to feel good. All right, so here you are coming out as an individual archer now in the afternoon after your win earlier in the day with the mixed team. Shooting on the same target. Is that the right target?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, the B target. All right, so yeah, how did it feel?
I mean, just in the in the moment I hop into the stage, I felt a relief because it was so much cooler than in the morning. I don't know why, but it was so much cooler. So like that was kind of my main concern, for crazy that it sounds, just how hot the stage was in the morning. So I hope there like everything. I was shooting good. I was grouping really well in the practice field, and there was still a little bit of confidence that the Korean archer didn't shoot as great in the morning, and during practice she wasn't grouping as well as Koreans do. So there was still a bit of confidence. So I feel comfortable how I was shooting.
Okay. And is this the same Korean woman you shot against in the mixed teams?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So there's maybe a little bit of hope that kind of keep piling on or keep you up your momentum. And yeah, again, same position, same targets here.
Yeah.
All right. Was she the higher ranked archer?
Yeah, she was. I believe so.
Okay. All right, so she's shooting first to open here. So just curious, do you get to walk to the line first or like with her? I'm curious about
Yeah,
the
you do.
timeline.
It has been a long time since I last shot an individual match in a stage. So I completely forgot that you could walk at the same time with her. So I was just waiting for my timer to start. So
Yeah.
in the next end, Chris told me like, you know that you can walk with her, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
No, that's all right. Better safe. And if anything, it probably helps you keep up that momentum of just the pacing of like step up to the line and then go through your shot. So yeah, that's all good. As long as you and your coach are in general aware of the rules. We've definitely seen some people kind of mess that up and it can affect their shooting or their match. But in general, you guys are just fine. It's just a little bit of a delay getting up to the line, but plenty of time to shoot.
Yeah, definitely. It was just a funny mistake.
All right, so unfortunate. So did that feel like a good shot? Did it feel like wind? What was your kind of thoughts on that?
It didn't feel like a great shot, but it didn't feel like a 7 either. So
Yeah.
like trying to get. I feel like I always have 1 or 2 shots that are not great when I'm under like that pressure. So I feel like I obviously wasn't thinking of shooting a 7 or making a good strong shot, but afterwards I felt okay, like it's out of the way. Like I don't think I'm gonna make another weak shot of nowhere in the next set. So it kind of felt good just to get out of the way.
Yeah, sure. And again, yeah, fortunate you had a chance to win that set still, but it looks like there's a little bit of wind. And again, first set is always trying to figure stuff out. But yeah, you got in the gold in that low 9 period, or part of the target where you probably expected a little bit of a bias, if anything. So yeah, frustrating, but you're only down 2-0, and now we're on to the second set here, and you get a lead off.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
That first shot did look super strong.
Yeah, I feel like it goes back to what I was saying in the very beginning, that like being bold, just turning in there.
Yeah, being aggressive, being bold. So now you're back into kind of competition mode, it looks like, and trying to pick up a couple points here.
Just barely out.
Yeah.
High 9.
So a high
And
9,
also-
but just a hair out.
That's also another thing, like, obviously we don't have a scope, and the screen doesn't keep the arrows, well, like the camera in the arrows, long enough for you to see where you're actually hitting. And sometimes, like, you only have 20 seconds to communicate with your coach. So, or sometimes, most of the time it's even less than that, because almost no archer takes 20 seconds to get an arrow off. So trying to get an idea of where your arrows are hitting and see if you need to make like any small adjustments to your sight.
Yeah, for sure. And like we were talking about earlier, it's even more critical when you only have when you have a new venue and only so many arrows to try to pick up those set points. So I'm sure coaches are really on top of paying attention to where athletes are grouping, both in their kind of past experience and then uniqueness to the venue, and then how they're doing actively. So yeah, just a hair out, but that's a pretty good 28 there.
I mean, if you give all those arrows a quarter-inch total, you got a 30.
Yeah.
They're all so close.
And she just snuck in one more 10 on there on the last one to get a 29. So yeah, so not a great position, not your preferred position to be down 4-0. But like you're saying, it sounds like your strategy is to come back and say, just be aggressive, just keep driving towards the 10, and anything can happen. No need to overthink, be extra careful to try to put it in the 10. That hasn't, it sounds like that would be your strategy, is to just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. In my experience, when you try to be careful is when you mess up the most. Like I have so many arrows that I try to be careful and they just went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you bring that up, because I do agree that not just for you, but for a lot of people, it's when you start getting careful that those mistakes start creeping in, because you're changing from what your normal shot process is in training. And the more similar you keep your shots being aggressive and confident, the better you're going to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice shot. All right, so your first arrow left 9, her first arrow left probably 8, just a hair out of the 9, and then you drill an X. So you're looking pretty good, and she's still hanging off left with another left 9. So now you're making your comeback.
Yeah. Yeah, again, here it was just goal game. You just needed a 9.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. So again, to be able to force a Korean to shoot an arrow that has no bearing on the outcome of this particular set has got to feel great. And looking forward straight to the next one to try to put everybody in a 4-4 position and go to a tiebreak.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, that's always the goal when you're down for 0, just to make a comeback.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a little bit of an opening. Everybody discussing with their coaches. Looks like you got some lighting change. Is it some cloud cover going over maybe?
Yeah, there was definitely
tell.
it was definitely more cloudy than in the morning. That was really nice. Like I like clouds. What can I say? Like I like the shade. I will choose to shoot. I feel like any archer will choose to shoot that over sun. And I don't get affected a lot by a cloud coming and covering the target. So it's more of a good thing than a bad thing.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Just a little more comfortable, maybe a little more less harsh lighting, more kind of subdued, flat lighting.
Yeah.
All right. So you get a lead off, end number 4. Again, you've had success in end number 3, just kind of going back to your basic process, being aggressive. Look pretty relaxed overall. All right, just a hair low left. Looks like that might not have caught. So an 8 just out of the 9. So are you changing anything for this next arrow or no?
No, maybe a couple of clicks because I have had left arrows since the morning, like a couple of ones. So maybe I feel like most of the times I move my side, it's just more like a placebo effect, more like mentally changing your side than actually, because 1 or 2 clicks is not gonna make a huge difference. So always like those 1 or 2 clicks just for your peace of mind.
Yeah, just to give yourself a little bit of benefit of the doubt for a line breaker.
Yeah.
So are you watching your competitor at all? Because she had shot a couple arrows left too, last end and this end. Maybe your coach is kind of paying attention to that or where the wind is going. And a great finish, low left 10. 26 is not what you are obviously capable of, but a great finish and now putting pressure on her. Oh, and also an 8, so just a hair out too. And she's obviously a little confused as well.
Yeah, after I shot the last 10 and I stepped off the line, I was like, I finished strong. I wasn't expecting to tie the set at all. So I was just like, that happened. I still shot good. But I turned around and then she shot another 8. So, it wasn't over yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know what can happen. We put these Koreans or these top archers on a pedestal sometimes, but in reality, they're just humans like us. And if we just do our thing and they do their thing, sometimes we're gonna come out on top.
Yeah, definitely.
So now you're down 5-3, but you have a chance to force the shoot off. Probably thinking a little bit that you've had good luck with shoot offs so far this tournament, so that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, it was. The pressure was there. I was happy with how I shot and I was enjoying it. So it was just for me it was keep repeating to myself, just dream more good strong shots, just keep doing your process.
I think maybe more than I've ever heard anybody else say when talking about a World Cup, it seems like you really did have a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, I did. It was the first World Cup that I go to the big stage. So I was just enjoying it. I knew that if I kept relaxed, I have been enjoying the whole competition, the arrows were gonna find the middle. So I really enjoyed the tournament. I enjoyed it from the beginning of the qualification round. It was just everything was working.
Nice, and you open up with a solid 10 here. Korean drops a 9. Your second arrow is like a 9-6 left, so pretty solid group, keeping it 9-5 and better. And in the driver's seat for this end here. All right, so she finished her second arrow dead center X, and now you're all tied up going into the last arrow.
It was a strong shot.
Yeah, 9-5 left again, so pretty solid, 28. And now it's up to the Korean has a 9 to tie to take the match, and she shoots a right 10. So just edges you out just a little bit. So how did you feel now that this is over? Was that a frustration? Was it kind of a mix of feelings?
I mean, I was still happy. You know, I mean, you obviously I wanted to win, but I mean, taking 3 points out of Korean, like I was showing good. I was like, it's how I think about it is if you shot good and the other person shot better and that's why they won, like they won. Like you cannot be mad about that. You shot good, you give your best. If the other person won because you shot bad, okay, now you can be pretty upset about that one. So in this one, I was just happy. I knew it wasn't over. I have still one more match. I mean, I got some points out of Korean, so I was pretty happy.
Yeah, and again, I think the body language to me communicates that there's some excitement or some nerves a little bit, but there's also a lot of just being present and feeling the shots, thinking about the shots, and enjoying the experience overall, and just more relaxed, I would say, than most archers maybe in that situation. So I think that in itself of being able to focus on what you want to focus on is a large part of archery in general, and it seems like you're under control there, and that's a great place to be.
Yeah, definitely. Again, like I was really enjoying it. It's the first time I get to be in a big stage after Tokyo, so I was really enjoying it. Like we compete, we train to be in the moment. So
awesome, yeah. So now we're getting into bronze medal match. You lost 7-3 in the semifinals. You're now shooting on the left target versus the right target from your first match. You're shooting against Germany, and you said it's a little later in the day. It's a little cooler than it was in the morning for the mixed team finals. And in general, like most of this tournament, it sounds like your strategy is be aggressive, enjoy what you're doing, have fun, and that's getting pretty good grouping. And, you have some arrows that maybe aren't exactly the way you like them, but they're good enough, and you just keep moving on.
Yeah. I mean, after the semifinal match that I lost, I just went and completely zoned down. I mean, I was reading a little bit. I was trying not to pay too much attention to the matches. Because I know, like, some people, maybe, like, it's the smart thing to do, like, pay attention, see if there is any wind, if there is, like, any big changes that you need to do. But I didn't want to have any idea of how my possible opponent was shooting. Like, I didn't want to look at it and they lost, but they were shooting, like, I don't know, 29, 30, 27, 28, something like that. I didn't want, like, any kind of pressure. Like, I mean, she's still an amazing archer and I knew what she was capable of, but I didn't want to know anything about the previous match.
Sure, and part of that might just be a little bit of a mental rest or emotional rest from the 2 matches you've already shot today. And like you were saying too, if the wind is not that strong and the venue is not that particularly challenging, then you kind of, it's predictable that people are just going to shoot how they're going to shoot, aim at the middle for the most part, and you've already got 2 matches under your belt, so the third isn't going to be too much different as far as conditions.
Yeah, pretty much really that. Like, there was no big wind changes or lightning changes, so the style was still there.
All right, so you're the higher ranked archer. You get a lead off. Looks like a left 9 to start and low right 9 for second arrow. Trying to get dialed in, but it looks like in general that you're comfortable and just shooting mostly like normal.
Yeah, I was also training, like, I mean, I didn't stop shooting for a long period of time, but I stopped shooting for a whole match. So I was still trying, like, to, get warm up again, get comfortable with your shot again.
Yeah. All right, so your opponent leaked out a high left 8 just out of the 9, and it looks like you closed with a 9 almost a 10. So she needs a 10 to tie. And low right 8, unfortunate for her. But yeah, so you took the first set. Solid shooting, 3 9s. Like you said, it's just gold games sometimes, and you never know what score is going to win a particular end. So yeah, that looks good. And again, I presume no real change in strategy, maybe just chatting with your coach a little bit, maybe a little bit of breeze, but maybe nothing super strong or consistent across the whole field.
Yeah, I don't particularly remember what we were talking about, but yeah, pretty much trying. If there is nothing big that needs to be corrected related to archery, just trying to keep the focus away from that.
Yeah.
Just keep things chill, joke around.
Yeah.
All right, so end number 2. So now you're shooting second. She gets to kind of lead off and set the pace here. Another 8. So door's still open for you.
She's looking back at her coach like, come on, what's happening here?
Yeah, unfortunately for her, also not really consistent location that she can kind of get it dialed in. And there's a high left 10, first of the match. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, and it's also, I don't know, like, as I said, I was really enjoying it. You know, like, you shoot at 10 and, like, the whole team that you're, like, your teammates that are watching you just go, like, ooh, it just claps and, like, go, Jenny. It's just really fun and really keeps you pumped in a good way. It's like, okay, I can do it. It's like, okay, another one and another one.
Nice. Yeah, and it followed up with a second high 10. So now you're up 4 points in this second end here. It looks like she's grouping left. And just, again, by body language, you can definitely tell she's a little frustrated and confused as to where the grouping is going and where she needs to execute an aim. All right, so unfortunate third one. So was that just a bad shot? Did it surprise you, or was it the wind?
Yeah, I think it was a bad shot. There was no wind. There wasn't a strong enough wind for it to move it all the way to a 7. It was definitely just a weak shot. Maybe I did something completely wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a weak shot.
Sure, but again, I think there's plenty of archers who would internalize that and stress and say, oh my gosh, like the momentum's shifting. I'm not, staying where I want to be with my grouping and my execution, and I should have at least had a 9 or something like that. Whatever internal dialogue. But it sounds like you're able to kind of shake it off and laugh about it a little bit and say, well, just because that was a bad shot doesn't mean anything else is bad's going to happen. I just made a little mistake, and now we're on to end 4, which luckily I've been shooting well, and I'm up 4-0 still.
Yeah, of course, and it's always so much easier to brush one error off when you still got the set. Like if I lost the set because of that 7, I would have been like pretty upset, still brush it off, but pretty upset about it for a moment.
Now, on a couple of the previous ends of this match, your opponent's kind of looking back at her coach, giving a little bit of maybe uncertain or uncomfortable body language. Since you're standing where you're basically she's right in front of you, are you picking up on any of that or noticing that, or was it not something you noticed until after the fact?
No, I was, as I said, like trying to pay too much attention to it. So I was just pretty much zoning out, maybe looking at the clock or looking at the crowd, but really not paying attention to my opponent.
Okay. So now she leads off with a good 10, and you're 8-9 line, and another high 10-9 liner. Looks like it might be in. So she's getting a little more comfortable. You're having to fight a bit more for this one. So your second shot here, high right 8. Did that feel like you're a little more pressure to get them back in the middle? That just feel like, hey, I got a couple flyers, not a problem. I'm still up 4-2 even if I don't take this set.
Yeah, it's always I was in a comfortable position. I was 4-0. I didn't have a lot of risk if I lost this set. And I have the experience even in qualification round, there is sometimes that you have you have a rough end. Like you have still like a decent score, maybe like a 54, a 53, sometimes a 55. You get lucky, but you really fall for it. Like you really fall for those 10, so like to keep in the yellow. So and then sometimes the next end just come naturally, just like it's just in the middle for some reason. So I just brush it off, like I'm I feel like I work a lot to forgive myself when I make a passion and not beat myself up. So I was just still brushing it off.
Okay. And again, I think the reason we kept coming back to that is because that's not as common in archers or in tournaments that we see with competitors that we would probably like, and just people being able to cue into enjoyment, pacing, being bold, being aggressive, and letting the timing and the strength of the shot process just help those arrows group rather than being extra careful, extra cautious, trying too hard. So I am excited to watch archers when they're shooting like that. So it's exciting to see you be able to take it all in stride and just keep having fun and shooting.
Yeah, thank you. I think it was definitely a lot of fun, as I said before.
All right, so N4, up 4-2. Momentum has maybe changed a little bit, or maybe not, depending on, I guess, how you look at it. But Germany will have a chance to start off here and shoots an X. So for me, it looks like she's getting a little more dialed in technically, but not, I would say, loose comfortably. It doesn't, to me, look like she's real aggressive, feeling like she's going to keep taking it through the remainder of the match. But maybe that's also because I know a little bit about the outcome. But I always think it's fascinating to watch body language of archers. I think you can tell so much.
Yeah.
I just leaked out a little right. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely like a little pressure. I don't know if you catch that, but in my first error, like I grabbed the ball and I put it down again. Like the pressure, maybe again, I think it's just mental, but you feel like you're not grabbing the ball in the right way, and if you just follow through with that shot, it's gonna go wrong. So I just put the ball down again, reset it, and do it from the beginning.
Yeah, and having a lot of practice, a lot of just comfort with the pacing of your shot can give you that insurance for that extra time if you need to let down or need to reset. So that's got to feel like nice to be able to redo another shot if you need to. So unfortunately here you had some leak to the right? So you got a couple in the 8 red or 8.5 right. Competitor is shooting reasonably strong, not as strong as her last end, but pretty good. So how are you feeling now that you're back to 4-4?
Yeah, I know, like it's a little bit rough going from 4-0 and then losing the next 2 consecutive match sets, but it was still the same. Like I think the wind pick up a little bit, give a couple of clicks because I have space on my side, so I'd rather move my side and aim off a little bit than having to aim off a lot. But yeah, just trying to reset all of that.
Yeah, and I think every top athlete or top archer that goes into these matches recognizes that just because you win or lose any number of sets doesn't mean you can't immediately swap the momentum. So I think that's kind of an implicit understanding of if you get in a big match like this, just because you're up 4-0 or 5-1 doesn't mean anything's taken for granted. And you obviously don't want to lose, but losing in that situation is not out of the question by any means. So you got good competitors, and now you're still trying to take it to them. Shoot a 30 every end is what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I feel like obviously there was a lot more pressure than in the first couple of sets. I remember the first 2 sets, like I just came back from like having, like a little bit of a break, just completely relaxed, completely like zone in. So like those first 6 shots were natural, and I remember fighting for the next 6-9 shots. But yeah, like after this arrow, like, there was a big window for me just to take the set, and I felt more comfortable. I knew like I just needed to keep shooting good shots, goal game, just stay in the middle.
Yeah, it looked like the pacing on that first arrow was a little slower. It looked like you were fighting that wind a little bit, but still executed the way you want. Your competitor looked like, I don't know if the shot was that bad, but definitely didn't go where she wanted, getting that left 6. So you follow up with another 9. She gets the line on the 10 left. And now you're in a position where you just need, looks like a maybe an 8 to close it out, or 9.
Yeah, here like mentally it was just like goal game. I just need a 9 to win.
Yeah. Excellent. Nice shooting.
Finished with a 10.
Yeah, so now you're like here and you're like no matter what you shot, like I already got the medal, just like all that pressure like just went away. Like if I like
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah. But it's always great to shoot and close out with a strong shot to finish. Did they mess up the timer here or something?
Yeah, they did. I step off the line, like trying to celebrate quiet, disrespecting my opponent, and I was just like happy, like talking to Chris, and I turn around because I don't hear her next arrow, and I'm confused, and I turn around, and the timer malfunction. Like I don't know what happened, but we were waiting there for like 30, 40 seconds or even more for it to restart.
I know for a second I was like, did she decide not to shoot? That seems unusual.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she had like pulled up and then let down.
Yeah.
So unfortunate, but thank goodness, I guess it didn't really significantly affect the outcome of the match at all.
That's true.
It definitely, something earlier could have definitely caused some problems.
And she finishes with a 10.
Yeah. So she's
Yeah.
got to be bummed, and
Or
a little
maybe 9, sorry.
little insult to injury to have to wait 45 seconds to shoot an arrow when you're already out of it. But
Yeah.
obviously that 6 was the defining arrow probably of that set. And yeah, so now after 3 matches today, you come away with 2 wins. And so how does it feel?
I mean, I feel amazing. Like, you always go to a World Cup with, you want to shoot good, you want to get 2 medals, but I haven't been performing as well as I wanted in our World Cups. So for me to imagine this big of a jump wasn't really there. Like I didn't went to Colombia expecting to come out with 2 medals, shooting as how I was shooting. So it felt amazing. I was so happy. Like all this stuff that was new for me, all the media, the photos, and go here and go there. It was all new to me. It was all really fun. It was a really enjoyable experience, and I have been working for this, so I was really happy.
For sure. Yeah, and we're very excited for you. And congratulations again on a great tournament, but also a great, it seems like, process and learning process to put yourself in a position. Because even if you didn't come away with quite as many medals or quite the level of medals that you wanted, it seems like the foundation has shifted a lot. And the foundation has gotten a lot stronger. And I'm sure you'll be able to take not just the excitement and experience emotionally of winning away from this tournament, but all the training and the mentality that I think has put you in a position here.
Yeah, it was after Sokol. There was literally days before the World Cup. I was shooting really good. It just came natural for some reason. Like I was shooting good during practice, but there was some kind of shift at some point that allowed all of this to happen. And I mean, I'm glad I did. I'm not able to pinpoint exactly what happened, but I'm glad it happened.
Well, I would advise keep writing down what you're feeling, how you're working on stuff, what your mentality is. Definitely try to ingrain and learn and record those things because, life is complicated, archery is complicated, there's ebbs and flows, but when you have good times, you want to soak it in and enjoy it and learn as much as you can from it.
Definitely.
So after having your probably best competition ever, what do you feel like you came away learning that's going to help you moving forward from here?
I mean, I learned that what I did work. And I also, during qualification, it was such a dumb mistake because I completely ignored what I have been doing the whole qualification round, but I ran out of time. The last arrow of the last end, I just needed a 9 to shoot a 340. That's all I needed. But I overthink it. I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, you just need this. Like trying to stay calm, still make a good shot. But I didn't have time to let down. I was anchored, and I let down a little bit. I look at the timer, and I had like 5 seconds left. So I had no time whatsoever to restart my whole shot cycle. So I just went back to anchor, and I shot it, and I shot a 6. I shot like I think it was a 3:37 because of that. I was still really happy because I shot my personal best in a competition, but I was pretty upset because I completely ignored what has been working, and I just overthink that arrow, and it was a 6. So I think coming out of this competition, just trying to remind myself of what worked and not making that same mistake again, because that, I believe if I had shot a 9 in that arrow, I would have played like, I think, in third. So
yeah, definitely some stakes on that last arrow for hitting a 340, ranking probably third in the ranking round. But like you're saying, the bigger, more valuable lesson that you take away from carries through all of these team rounds. And again, you're in contention for medals for all 3 events, which is something I think we wish we all had. So that's exciting to see. And like you said, seeing that you could have had not only beaten your personal best, but beat it by even more, has got to make you also kind of feel like, oh my gosh, like I got up to this level with using these key things, and there's more room to go. So if I just keep doubling down and focusing on this, there's even more room to improve.
yeah, of course, there is always you can work on it, there is always you can improve. It has been working really good, and I don't think I'm gonna change my approach, but just remind myself every single error of what I need to do and why not works, and just try not to drift away from that.
That sounds like a great strategy. Will you be attending the World Championships in Berlin?
Yes, I will be there. I will be in Paris as well.
Okay. Well, we will be watching, and we'll hopefully have a lot of people watching you as well, watching on the podcast, watching live. So we're rooting for you, and congratulations again, and we look forward to talking with you in the future.
Yeah, best of luck, Jennifer. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. This has been Follow Through by RamRods Archery. I'm Joe Fanchin, and this is Josh Smith. We just spoke with Jennifer Mucino about her great performance at the World Cup in Medellin. Follow us for more World Cup breakdowns in the future as we look forward to Berlin and Paris.